Oh my God, folks, we're here at the finale episode of Young Justice, episode 26 of season 4, Death and Rebirth. This finale was nuts.
Yes, yes.
It's easily the best episode I've seen of Young Justice, bar none. And man, we got so much to talk about in this episode. So, Jarrell, overall, your thoughts about this episode, man?
Oh man, I was right. I feel like I feel so vindicated that all my theories over the season have paid off, and all my note keeping, every page that I wrote down in my notepad, I cross-referenced, and I was like, man, everything, they hit every note on how I thought it was going to play out with certain little tweaks, but overall it was a great finale. Little speedy at the beginning a little bit, like it was kind of running through it, like, okay, hurry up and catch up. But overall, it was a great episode, man. Action was on point, and I feel like everybody got what they wanted. And what I've been talking about with certain characters in the background this entire time, finally paid off, like what I thought was going to happen. But this is an amazing episode, and I gotta watch it again once it airs on. So I'm ready.
Yeah, listen. Here's the thing. Starting off with the end credit scene, I hope you all did not leave too early because you did not want to miss this out. And shout out to a couple of the folks in the comments last week asking about a particular character, and it puzzled me for a minute because I was like, I don't know if we have not seen her. And to my own flaw is because, like, in terms of Young Justice, in terms of the DC animated films,
right,
or just content period, you start to like confuse yourself halfway. I know I've seen her recently, but was it? Nonetheless, folks, we now know Darkseid's plan, which was just pure Darkseid in the back, pulling strings, getting everything he wanted, hand delivered to him. Granny Goodness has her 2 new recruits, Black Mary and the Supergirl. Man, listen, everybody's like, where's Supergirl at? Where's she at? I bet she's gonna come and help. Look at that. You have the next generation of female Furies. What did you think about this, bro? This was insane.
It's crazy because like you said, like this particular continuity of like Young Justice kind of being outside of everything that we know, and them consistently throwing us curveballs. I wasn't even thinking about Supergirl at all. You know what I mean? Because it's so many people and things that you don't see in this world of Young Justice that should be there. I'm getting, but man, talk about Darkseid picking up some heavy hitters. You know what I mean? Like who? I didn't even think that Supergirl would have been hiding in the Phantom Zone, or she was put in the Phantom Zone for whatever reason. And then Mary, who they already sowed the seeds for early on in the show, being pissed off and absorbing magic and be pretty much being stronger than everybody else there. So they both about to be a problem. And I'm glad that this setup for this next season is about to be disgusting, because it's about to be all out, just a slugfest all next season, especially from them two. Like, ooh, and it seems like they putting a lot of power, and I'm sure it's intentional, but like putting a lot of power in like the women's hands, the female characters in this particular season, and just seeing them come in and pick up a lot of the load, especially with like Zatanna and
Emerald Empress is on the way out too,
and everybody else. So it's nice to see that that heavy hitter switch kind of go to these different characters, man, and see what they do come next season.
Yeah. Listen, let's jump to the top of the episode. We got so much to talk about, folks. Jump in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about everything as we get down to it. And you can also comment on whatever time mark of whatever we're talking about, because we're going to break this episode entirely down for this finale episode of Young Justice Phantom Season 4. Let's get into it. So starting off, General Zod has ordered Superman to be executed in a birth of new Krypton. Now, I have to just quickly comment and say, all right, well, there's no way Superman is going to die twice in in this season. So I'm like, whatever's going to happen, that's not going to happen. And to my own prediction of last week, I said, I bet you McGann hit a switcheroo here. I did not think he was actually himself and poisoned and whatnot, but I was a little conflicted about the Superboy having these moments, but still, it worked out in a way I didn't predict. But I still really appreciated how it was all executed, to no extent that I feel like we have like some lazy payoff here. I felt like they did a really good job into showing the threat of the Black Kryptons and basically, imposing that threat on the world, bringing all the attention to Metropolis, and then creating this inner conflict that we've been seeing with Superboy the entire time. But now we see it in a way that, it wasn't him creating this self-conflict, but we see Zod plan kind of work against him because he never wanted to listen to nobody else. That's kind of more of a traditional Zod thing in whatever iteration of Zod, of him not really listening or believing anybody else. And so we see this work against him because the first moment that he gets a chance to be like, "Ha, told you so," it was, a couple of moments away. But overall, did you think for any moment that Superman was going to be executed again?
No. They not about to. I knew they weren't going to do that, but I did agree with your theory last week that was McGann, like doing the switcheroo, and unfortunately, we were both wrong on that.
Yeah.
But no, I never really thought that they were going to go that hard, especially because I knew, what was being set up for the next. And they're going to need Superman. They're going to need all the, everything they can get their hands on. So, like you said, they're not about to kill two Supermen in the same season. Even though they didn't kill Superboy, but they ghosted him out of the universe.
Yeah.
But no, man, Zod just being Zod and not
puffing his chest out
to what was going on. Yeah, they got outplayed, and luckily, everybody was on different parts of like the story, man, because it caught everybody off guard about what was going on. So it really was good, like I said, and of course Superman being Superman, taking a kryptonite bullet, even though he knows he's going to die, was quite the surprise there.
I also think too, like I need to see a meme of General Zod with some Timberlands on and a cigarette in his mouth. Like I need him to say, the House of Zod in 3. Like I need him to flex, because that's what he was kind of doing out there. He was kind of puffing like, nah, we did a bid. Now we out here now, and ain't nobody stopping us. And like I like that arrogance because it makes sense. Like for somebody who's been haven't given a fair shake for a while, got put in the Phantom Zone way longer than he was supposed to. Now he's out, and he was like, "Yo, we are gods." If he would have went to New Genesis, he would have been a pet. I was like, okay, excuse me, but like he called it what it was. He says, "Nah, that's not what we were supposed to be." He failed us, so we're gonna make an example and show y'all what we're really about. I'm like, listen, I would have been out there like, "Hey, brother, do your thing." I would have went up and dapped him and everything. Yeah. Like, what's up, my nigga? I'm like, yeah, it was good.
I do agree with that though. Like, Jor-El did choose that planet for a reason, because he knew the potential of what his son could become, and obviously nobody was gonna be able to stop him. But like you said, they've showed different examples of Superman landing somewhere else, and what happens when he's raised under a different influence. So
yeah,
I definitely would have been interested if they showed that New Genesis story. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So Nightwing and McGann, they chop it up, man. They start to say, listen, this is what happened. McGann and them played an illusion. Nightwing pulled a old school wrestling move and blading, which, folks, if you don't know, it's exactly what he says it is. You take a blade and you cut yourself to get blood out. And like they don't really use that anymore, but back in the day, that's what they did for spots to make it look real. You use a blade to cut yourself, and then he did the Batman trick and slowing his heart rate up. So we got half of that right. There's no way Nightwing. I keep saying Batwing. Batwing's also a character. I wonder when we're gonna get Batwing. I wonder.
Like I said, man, they really not touching a lot of like the current stuff. They really trying to keep it pretty centered in this particular story without introducing a bunch of clutter into this world.
Yeah.
I mean, even though that Bat family keeps expanding, like we got Damian, we got everybody else, we got Tim, we got pretty much everybody. So hey, you never know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if him and Azrael makes an appearance come very soon. So we'll see. Anyway, staying on topic though. And then like I really loved how they bring this all together because like for us doing reviews, we kind of knew that this moment of clarity amongst the different trajectories all coming together, and I love how they started to piece it together really quickly. And you got two of the biggest minds involved, one actually being a psychological mind and one just being the detective he is. And he says, oh well, this and that, oh, this all checks off. And like they were having that aha moment, so that was really cool how they did that. And then when they talked about Superman and Orion heading the blast and everybody faking their death, Superman standing up to sell the illusion, I also thought for a moment, well, how come Orion also wasn't right next to him? Like I don't see Orion being the one to say like, oh, I don't see him even volunteering to have faking his death, but I also don't think by power level he should not. It should have been like, all right, he's definitely playing possum. Like there's no way, you know what I mean? But whatever. I also loved how Nightwing admitted to him being stupid for bringing the kryptonite to the Phantom Zone. You said it, and he admitted it, but he said, "I got you, Terrell. I heard what you said." So
I messed up.
Yeah. So Bioship got pretty damaged in all of this. So Mini Bioship comes out, and this is just the beginning of the Avengers assembling. I just not going to say Avengers, but just assemble. But yes,
everything at that moment just felt like super convenient. That like, okay, how are we gonna get out of this? Oh, here's the ship. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, here we go.
Yeah. So going back to Superboy before he, considers to assassinate Superman. Him going down memory lane, I thought was a really good moment for everybody, as the viewers, seeing all those good moments within previous episodes of Young Justice. When he got his nephew and whatnot, and how that was ultimately the biggest factor into him saying like, "Oh, I can't kill him again." Which I thought it was funny that he said again, but like he says he is family in his dominant Toretto voice, and then he couldn't kill him, so. There's that, and then this is where the chaos starts because Zod says, "Okay, I'll do it myself," and then we get our first yoink of the episode. Kid Flash is like, "Yeah, I'll step in and do that," which was really cool that he was on the scene, and this is like where everything picked up. Now, I think what was also important is Nightwing's commentary about the Kryptons not being at full power. Now, I know there's folks that's going to be like, there's no way,
right?
But it should be very clear that these folks have been in the shadows for years, and they first get a bit of their first yellow sun, and now they just, it's night. Also remember that too. So not just yet, which I thought was I wonder if they wrote this episode and it was in day at first, and somebody was like, "Well, that's not going to be a good idea." And said, "Oh yeah, switch it to night," which you would think in terms of them boom tubing their troops back that they should have said, "No, let's get the sun right now." We're seeing how they were very much, content with. Well, okay, I retract my own words. They thought everybody was dead. So they didn't think there was no urgency. So, just get them here. And, they were talking about the troops would take like an hour or something to get there, but it was no problem because they had no threat. Superman was their only last threat, and they were going to do that, and they were going to do what they're going to do. So cool. So, but yeah, this is when things started to get intense. Like I said, Nightwing explaining what the deal was. With the Kryptons not being full power, but this is my favorite part where he basically looked at McGann and says, "Listen, home girl, you're a demi-goddess. I need you to get out there and turn the fuck up. Ain't no more time. Ain't no more time for holding back, bro. You need to do it." And I mean, in full blown, and like we need the documentary side of this with McGann, where she's sitting there with her iPad and said, and at this moment, like I took that serious in her Michael Jordan voice because I took that personal because like it was just on and popping there, and like I don't want to keep making Marvel references here, but like as one of my favorite all superheroes and being Scarlet Witch, when Scarlet Witch had that moment with Thanos and she went nuts, this is how I felt when McGann heard those orders from Nightwing, where I was like, oh, she's really about to like unlock now. She unloose it, like, and I like that. Like Nightwing, being the mind he is, was the one that really orchestrated the success here. He made sure that he had his strongest, most valuable people in the places they needed to be. And that's what just makes this team what they are. It's like they had the wherewithal to understand what was needed in order to get success here. Even Zatanna, at a point we'll get to in a second, where Zatanna was saying, you know, Emerald Empress is out of my league. We need to switch. Right. I don't know if I've ever heard that before in a fight where somebody's like, dog, I'm like, not like I don't know how much longer I can hold this. More like a, nah, let's switch. This is a mismatch right here. So, but I think you know, this is where we started to get some of these epic showdowns. Now, Calderon and Superboy, that fight I thought was coming. Were you excited for that? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I was pretty pumped for the matchups here. And you know, they all picked their partners well. And like you said, they made sure they made sure they made the setting clear that Kryptonians were nowhere near full power. You know what I mean? Because this would be they'd be wrecking shop. Yeah. I would say they was probably on par with like a regular enhanced meta at that point, because they were still able to crack up the ground and throw people around, but nowhere near. And they also made sure Superman wasn't fully powered too. You know what I mean? So everybody was kind of on equal terms, probably with the exception of
Lore. Yeah.
But yeah, all the matchups here, you had Calderon versus Zod, who was getting wrecked, by the way. Like, his magic wasn't working. He's slapping them up, throwing up against cars. I'm like, how is this dude still alive?
Listen, I was in the background playing Fight the Power. I was like, the black people out here are wrecking, bro.
You got Nightwing and I want to say Huntress. I cannot remember her. Tigress. Just, I don't even know how they were even keeping up, you know, with the lackeys there.
Pure luck. And the second zoink of the episode, Kid Flash saving her, because she was definitely about to be out of there. So
who else? Again, Kid Flash not fully healed. He's still hurt. You know what I mean? It's like everybody is coming into this fight like, you know, either partially not 100%, but still holding their own in this fight. Yeah. And like you said, Emerald Empress versus Zatanna, and we keep in mind that artifact is, you know, from the 31st century, and it's one of the most you know, mystical.
The Eye Ekron.
Right. It's one of the most powerful items in the mystic realm. So of course she would not be able to keep up with it. And I just found it funny, like Kid Flash tried to take it and it zapped the hell out of him. I don't know why he thought that was going to work.
I mean, I think that's a very standard Flash thing, where they always are so fast to say, like, I'm just going to take possession of this and never think of the repercussions. We see that like constantly with Flashes, in terms of like, oh, this is mine. Whoops, I shouldn't have touched this type of thing. You know. So
Lord Zod picking on the bioships. You know, picking on Bioshell and trying to laser it down. Like that was his opponent for like 2 seconds.
Listen, there's something about what Lore did that I'm just not believing. There's a couple of things in this episode I had problems with, and it's one thing with Lore. You did mention that the Zod, General Zod, and Aquaman Carter was a dope showdown for a moment too. I was looking for that.
Was like they would pair off the two black people with the fight. Yeah. I was like, all right, now that's cool. Let's keep going.
But I love how he like kind of swolled up and was like, yeah, I've been waiting for this one. I was like, yeah, my God, let's get it. But like, let's not also forget too the what I think was one of the funniest moments of this episode is the Danny Chase, the Kaiser Thrall, when after Aquaman basically removed him from under the possession of Ma Oliver Ak. Somebody said, I don't know how to say it right. And he thought he was safe, and then he says, "No, you're not." And he came out, and I was like, "This dude is like relentless, bro." He's him and McGann, man. What can you say? But that, I thought that was dope. Come back to that in a second. Superboy, when he first gets back on the field,
get his mind reset, rebooted.
And McGann comes in. He says, "No, not you," and she says, "Yes, me." And I was like, "Oh yeah." She again. I love Scarlet Witch, and I know it's different properties, but like it's the same type of almost sorcery and mind control in terms of her saying like, "Nah, you come to me for a second." And I'll be honest, I honestly said I shed a tear there because like seeing all their like good moments together, it felt like out of a page of like a final moment in Final Fantasy. Like it was just like, oh yeah, this is everything, man. Like they've been through a lot, and just seeing the animation over the years, seeing the maturity of the characters in the show, right. I was like, man, this is beautiful how they did this and how they like integrated this into a finale, but into a really, really meaningful and pivotal part of the episode. Because just to jump forward just a small bit, but they did get married. You could have easily had that flashback moment there because that just seems like an easy thing to do, but no, they made it make sense in the middle of the fight, and I thought that was really, really dope. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, calling back to what you said with Nightwing talking to her, giving that motivational speech. I feel like that was a call back to Megan when she was using her powers and she brain blasted the one dude and fried him. And after that point, she started to hold back. She didn't use her abilities like that anymore. It becomes a continuous conversation over the seasons about her doing that and how she went too far. And I think that point, like Robin was like, Nightwing, I'm sorry, he was like, hey, don't hold back, do what you got to do. This is a serious fight. Like we can't take no chances here. So at that point, you really see her start to go off and really use her power, which I feel like because that's been a hurdle for like 2 seasons since that moment happened. Yeah. So. That was pretty cool to see her, finally unleash herself. I would have loved to see more transformations, because she is Martian, but that's either here or there.
I also think that like the very seems to be the very motivating factor in this is love, and the two of them loving each other broke them out of their their mind spells. Megan being afraid to be herself, and Superboy under this trance of like, I don't know, self-blaming for everything and not looking in front of them. And when they had the moment to look in front of each other, they were able to do what they needed to do. Because, either one of them, or I don't think Superboy did much we did get the one thing, but like at this moment now, this is where it was only downhill for the House of Zod at this point. Yeah. But Zatanna, fighting the Emerald Empress and the Eye Akron, and her admitting that she was out of her league was really dope. And needing to trade for better matchups, I thought was like a very good point. Now, talk about lore, Zod. Okay, folks, there's no way that this black Krypton is going to sit here, destroy Bioship, and have it crash into a chicken spot. Y'all can say what y'all want to say, because I can say that. It ain't no way. Listen, nah. He would have made sure. If there's one thing in the season that's not going to get destroyed, is that chicken spot right there. And I thought that was crazy. I'm sitting here like, all right, of all spots, this is what y'all going to do. Y'all going to make Bioship crash into a chicken spot by the black man shooting it down. Got it. Okay. Got it. We're big fighting game fans here. So I know you tensed up when you saw the Krypton Super 2-on-2 battle getting ready to go down, and how they had them standing, the blacks versus the whites. Of course, you know what side I was on for the culture. Now I'm just playing, but no, seriously, it was really dope about how they had that going down. And regardless of what you want to think about the characters, everything we've been saying right now is why that fight resulted in the way they did. Nobody was powered except for lore. General Zod wasn't powered. Superman definitely wasn't powered, and I don't think Superboy just could have kept up with either one of them anyway. Just to be honest, I don't think he had enough for them, even if he was powered. So that's why you seen them quickly get washed. But then, man, I'm telling you, man, when you hit that L2 button for that assist, and Megan came through with the quote of the entire episode of "Stop trying to kill my man," had that man Lord Zod looking like he peed in his pants. the fear in his eyes. What you thought about that moment, man?
I thought she was about to get choked out instantly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you could do mind stuff to Kryptonians to a certain extent, but it didn't last long. But I thought it was a powerful moment. Seeing as how he, kind of been out of play for like 20 episodes. You know what I mean? So, finally getting that moment of like reuniting and finally after everything that's happened to him and the months, like she's just tired of it. She's just ready to get back with him and protect him at all costs. So I could definitely feel the emotion in her voice in that scene. It was really touching moment, as cheesy as it was, but but it was a really touching moment.
I thought it was dope as hell. And then right after that, then we also get the Netspec part of this episode. I thought when the Emerald Empress came down and KO'd McGann, and I said, oh my God. And I believe this. Did you believe that she actually died for a moment?
No.
I thought like
I knew once she went full Saiyan that it was an illusion, because that's her thing. It's not the first time she's done this.
Yeah,
she just did it at the beginning of the episode. like
I thought in very romantic writing where you have the moment where she saves him, but he couldn't save her. I thought they were trying to pull and have him just go completely OP and just.
I mean, by all means, she should be able to do that. Like, you know what I mean? She should be able to rip her heart out. She's Kryptonian and she's got magic powers. Come on, like, by all means, like, stop.
Hey, but listen, man, the power of love, man. You know what it is. But yeah, when she came behind her and said, "If you want to be a guy, you gotta go through me," I was like, "Okay, McGann, you cashing checks now. You out here for real." Like McGann said, "Catch me outside." How about that? Like, for real. Yeah, running phase left and right. And then even like my man Danny Chase getting his payback on a Ma'alafa'ak, folks. Literally kicking him out of his head. And then now opening up the boom tubes.
He know what he had to do. Send them back.
Yep. So Rocket coming back with the "you miss me" type of thing. Like, I felt that when she came back with her return, I thought that was really dope. That's where she makes her return back. And the Ma'alafa'ak gets back into the Phantom Zone. But before he goes out, he said, which I thought was brilliant writing in this episode, of saying, "I'm not going without my rewards." Keep in mind, there was other big things that this episode needed to tie up besides this fight. So him bringing that up, I was like, good. I also loved I would say, sort of the homage to Injustice, where Superman hits his traditional combo on General Zod, excuse me, and get him to go back to the Phantom Zone. I thought that was really cool that they did that as well too. So yeah, I love that combo, and I thought that was really cool that they had that go down. But I also thought it was completely irresponsible that they let Lord Zod just get away. It's like the moment that you get comfortable off of a
time machine out in the open, right? Like, it's just
and he just like, whew, and just goes back out there. Even the Emerald Empress getting an escape, I thought was kind of like, oh, so y'all really not going to just do anything? Like, but whatever. I mean, like, for the sake of like future stakes, I was like, okay, fine. But I just definitely was like,
apparently, all of this is a fixed point. You know what I mean? Everything that's happening has to happen. You know what I mean? So everything that's happening has to happen in that order that it's happening in. So, and one person knows what's going to happen already, which is crazy. So,
I wish that, because there's one person that knows for sure. We'll talk about it in a second, but I don't think there was just one person. There was definitely should have been about 3 to maybe 4 people that should have known. And I think that somebody should have definitely kind of been like more obvious that they had to let certain events play out, like kind of like, sitting on the wall, like, okay, this needs to happen. Let me sit here and chill or whatnot, because that type of foreshadowing was happening in previous episodes. We'll talk about that quickly in a second, but like, but either way, the execution of how they did all this in the fight was really cool. I will say that I'm pretty mad that Razor didn't show up in all of this, and with the Justice League,
he would.
Yeah, the Justice League showing up all late, talking about, hey, what happened? And like,
reminds me of that Peacemaker episode, right?
Yeah, exactly, and not like the in-game battle you thought was going to happen. Like these.
Nah, I was a little disappointed by that, you know, because I was like, okay, I was like, once they brought out the other pieces of the army, I was like, oh, the league gonna come in, they gonna fight. They come in like, wait, what happened? Where were you at? You had a speedster.
Yeah.
What is your excuse? Like,
Just completely trash, bro. Anyway, so that wraps up the fight in Metropolis. Anything else you want to talk about that? Before we get to the next part?
That scene where I'm sorry, it was Mala fuck. What is it?
I got you. Ma Alafa'ak. There you go.
The scene where he's going into the portal for the Phantom Zone and Megan is pushing him back, and she was like, you did want to see him die, or you were happy that he was dead, or something like that. Calling back to the, when he lied to her about that whole situation. And I thought that was a good wrap up to their story right there. And just like she pushing him in was like, hey, that's the end of that between them two. Like he's irredeemable at that point after everything that he's done. So I thought that was a really good wrap up for that part of that story.
Yeah. Well said. Now, so we get back to Earth now, and then getting back to Earth is because with everything that's going down, I appreciate the urgency here. It's time to get married, folks. No more holding back. But actually, before we get to the wedding, Beast Boy being an advocate and more of a spokesperson, shall I say, for mental health. So we see he's in better shape, doing better. Like I said, Connor and McGann are just like, hey, we got to get married ASAP, and everybody's invited. I'm definitely legit mad that folks came in their costumes to the wedding. And there's
Batman makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, there's no reason Batman should have been there in his costume, bro.
Hot as hell out there.
No reason. There's a Blue Beetle, like for real. Like
they had a couple of people that was like prisoners or something like that showed up. So
that was what's his name? Icy. What's his name? I know I'm saying his name wrong, right?
Jack Frost. No, he's one of the ice users, right?
Yes. That's been locked up since forever. Like
season 1.
Yeah. So we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I'm just definitely mad that there's some people that just showed up in their costumes and not just like outfits and whatever. McGann going back to her original name for her parents. I thought that was a nice little
her sister.
Yeah, sorry, yes. A nice moment and whatnot. So yeah, then you got Black Canary speaking up about
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. That's a good word. Thank you. A safe spot for everybody to escape the life and to receive better treatment. So I thought that was really cool.
I found that funny that they mentioned Sanctuary because that was recently a comic event they did where they had heroes go into like this thing, and it was like a AI that did like pretty much therapy, and every time you left out, like it erased everything, like nothing got stored, and it became like a whole story about Wally, and all that information got leaked out. So I wonder if they're going with that, if that's going to lead up into it, if they're going to start that program. But that just happened just like a couple years ago. So, I mean, it's not out of question, but the whole Sanctuary thing was just popped in my head when that came up.
Yeah. Beast Boy ex-girlfriend literally picked like the worst time to
man. Oh, I'm terrible.
Insensitive, man. Like he, she's like, I know you're doing better, but like you gotta let go, bro. Like
she's like, I moved on. Damn.
Real.
He was already there, bro. Like, come on. It was a couple months. You didn't give me a chance. Try to help.
So Aqualad, Caldo, however you want to call him, he says, listen, man, we can't leave the Kryptons in the Phantom Zone forever. I mean, listen, they did their time. They deserve to be out. So after the wedding, we're going to go get them. Little did he know, and little will we find out come next season, when he goes to that Phantom Zone, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. Because, man, this is where I knew you were wiping your hands at this part of this episode.
Yeah.
Vandal Savage in the War World, he got him some new toys, man. He got all of them. Because Clarion out here doing work, enjoyed the hunt, as they said.
Clarion wasn't even supposed to be there, yo. Like
crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy. But at the same time, this is where we start to hear what this whole exchange was going on here. And he says, listen, Darkseid only required one Kryptonian and a pet Martian. So we know who the Kryptonian is. Obviously, in Supergirl, as we talked about earlier, we know who the Martian is, obviously. And then we see what the Ma'ala Ak got in his reward in Dorla, his new planet, and now his plans. So everybody is satisfied. So to me, on the villain side, everybody is satisfied. But going back to the wedding, we knew, as I said, y'all, and y'all can say it in the comments too. Y'all are definitely Team Rocket and Orion. And I cannot believe, before I even talk about this, that fucking Amistad got a girl. Like, what the hell? Like, no, what
was that?
Dog.
Oh, that's what's name's daughter, her sister's daughter, Tigress.
Yeah. Dog, just stop it. My man Beast Boy got caught an L and Amistad out here moving up on wild times, man. But Rocket was telling Orion about what happened with her when she kind of bounced out of the boom tube and popped up in Metron's Infinity Vault. And Metron, I swear, this is the most genius thing I have ever I thought Darkseid was genius. This man Metron, with no emotions, had a whole plan set. Who I'm sure that's who we both are agreeing knew the events of everything the entire time. Which is funny because we know that Metron was in pursuit of Lore, and that and being able to track him through time and whatnot. So once he kind of got behind and once he kind of pushed the emergency button on New Genesis and to the New Gods, he basically disappeared. And everybody's like, where did he go? And I think he went to do his research to figure out how to get in front of him on this. But anyway, pure genius, because he talked about how Rocket ended up getting her way back to Earth to the right time, Metropolis, on a one-way trip. She was not able to alter it at all.
Right.
Just to get there, for Lord Zod to get it, and then he gets a one-way trip. And oh my God, preset coordinates, and he gets back to what is the biggest moment of the conclusion of last season, where we're just like, oh shit, did Superman die? And Phantom, what happened? And this man Lord basically thought that that he got some type of a blessing from above to say oh, this is my final chance to stop the Superboy, and got my man completely evaporated, executed. And this man, when they went back to show Metron's face, I was like, dude, oh my God,
talk about taking it personally.
Yeah,
that man vault. What you think was going to happen? You captured him,
yeah, crazy. So yeah, this is why they mentioned that Connor was important. Anyway, I'm just going to jump forward to the last few things, and I'm going to throw it back to you to kind of get a closing assessment. So Empress is pregnant, and she is out of there, and she goes, and the House of Zod lives on. Brainiac 5 comes in to get the League of Superhero, the Legionnaires, basically. Was there something to that? I feel like there's something to that I wanted to say. Yes. Oh, whoa. They only mentioned why Connor was important there, but Icicle Jr., so I was talking about too, who've been locked up for all this time, but for whatever reason still was able to be at the celebration, shedding a tear and everything, but whatever. But yeah, that concludes this episode. Love is in the air. We move forward. We know where everybody's plan was, except for two very critical things. Unless I don't understand, what was Superman's big secret that he was trying to keep?
They still never revealed it. And again, I mean, it was something that they had to do because they wanted him to pose as Connor at some point, which clearly he's taller than Connor. I'm not going to pull that off. But yeah, they never really said it was something, whatever the timeline, if they went to the future, because of that, I think at that time they had it. Did they have the time spear? No, I think they just had the bioship. They were stuck on Earth. Yeah, so I'm not sure They probably hopefully we get the reveal on that next season, or they don't forget about it. So
yeah, and the one thing we've been lobbying for all season is Wally.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah, so
they seems like they really do want to keep certain deaths like permanent in this show. You know, Jason's still dead. So, but as at that moment we had with Jonathan, where Clark and Lois are like, you know, pretty much like, look, we thought he was dead, you know, my bad, you know, like, you know, people don't, you know, like,
he's like, are you scared? He's like, why would I be scared? Like, he's alive.
Right.
Like,
so, you know, pretty much, you know, I'm not sure, you know, I might be reaching on that one, but like letting you know that people that we think are dead might still just be lost, like he said, or still out there somewhere, and we just need to help find them. So hopefully Wally, but I don't know.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about everything? I'm done with my thoughts. I love this episode.
It wrapped up well. I didn't expect my man Lord to get got like that. I didn't think they were going to be that graphic with it. He just a stain on the wall, which we thought was Superboy, which is crazy. And you know, he did all this just to wind right back up at the spot, you know, where he's going to die anyway. But you know, I was thinking about in terms of you know, since he's going to be born. Remember, his mother was never supposed to get the not the Emerald Star, but the what is it called? The Eye of
Akron. Mm-hmm.
She was never supposed to get that. It was never supposed to be there in the first place. So I wonder if that would change that current timeline of that version of himself. You know, once he's born and yada yada yada. Because I can't imagine now that all that stuff has been changed. All that stuff that was supposed to happen has now happened in his past. That he was going back to fix. So I wonder if that'll change his current situation.
Yeah.
Now they pretty much created a new timeline on that. So
yeah, and I mean, like, that was obviously in his strategy, because that was the one thing he decided that I needed to get for whatever reason, kind of off the humble. So, you know, yeah, it's definitely not the end of him. We just have to see the second attempt of everybody out of the Phantom Zone. And where does Supergirl and Black Mary involvement in this go, you know? And
Darkseid, woo, but got an army out here, got an army of Kryptonians.
Yeah,
man, it's about to be nasty.
Yeah.
It's about to be nasty out here. So, you know, everything between Darkseid and Vandal Savage, boy, woo, I can't wait to see what they do with that.
Yeah. Bring us season 5, folks. We can't wait long. Jump in the comments, everybody. Let us know your thoughts about this entire season, this finale, and so on. This was a fun journey. We really enjoyed reviewing Phantoms, the second side of this season. So yeah, jump in the comments. Let us know some of your favorite moments and so on. And we'll catch you around when more Young Justice is back. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.